Alright guys, so how's it going today? So I came into the shop here. Just as soon as I put the door up, I heard a freaking bang, like something fell. But I know there's no cats in here because I would have seen it on the camera. So I'm guessing it was probably a mouse. I probably scared the shit out of it when I opened up the freaking door and it fell. But it never ran out, so I don't know if he's got a hole in the wall somewhere or if he's just hiding out. He's probably down in here somewhere. Down in here in the corner, but we'll never know, obviously. So, but it wasn't, I don't know, it didn't sound like metal on metal or anything, so it had to have been something soft that hit something else. And then, yeah. So, I think it must have been up here on the shelf. It is the damnedest thing, though. Well, it had to have been a mouse. I told you guys I got one living in here. I haven't seen it for a couple of months. Figured it probably went into hibernate mode when we got that cold snap. But now maybe it came back to life. I'm not really sure, but stupid bastards. I still haven't gotten around to setting up a trap in here yet. So probably gonna have to do that. He's got to definitely be up on the shelf here because it looks like I'm starting to see poo up here. And all these little dark spots look like poo marks. So good chance he's still alive. I'm gonna have to set a trap. And I hope he hasn't been chewing on Big Red's wiring. That's what I'm mostly concerned about. He's been living in Big Red. But another thing I'm concerned about is my trimmer too. What if he's living in the trimmer? I mean, there's not much for wiring in the trimmer, but there is a little bit of wiring there. And that was a $400 trimmer too, so I'm hoping that he's not chewing on that fucking wiring, but I guess if he is, I'll have to redneck it back together. That's all I can do. So I think I'm starting to see a lot of poo. I'm not seeing so much on Big Red though, it's looking like. So it might be a good thing, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know, I'm gonna have to see if my grandma's got some spare traps. And I'll set a couple in here or something and see if I catch anything. I don't know. But he never ran out though, so I don't know. He's obviously somewhere in my trash, but I don't know. He'll probably never run out. And I don't ever really notice anything on the camera, but you can't really see anything. You can't see on the shelf anyway. The camera doesn't have a wide enough lens for that. So I can see. I think I can see this shelf. That's pretty much it. So pretty much everything from, I guess, this part forward, I can see everything, but obviously I can't see the shelf, or can't see the shelf. The camera doesn't have enough. It's not wide enough for that. I probably could lower it down a little bit more, but even if I did, it's not going to give me much more. What I'm seeing now is plenty. It's really just the main thing to keep an eye on the door, and in case there's a cat that gets trapped in here, most likely the cat's going to wander back and forth in front of the door because he or she's going to know that's the only exit in this building. But that's kind of another reason why. Two reasons why I put a camera in the shop. One is because I locked the cat in here last year or whatever, and didn't know about it until a few hours later or something, right? So And then, yeah, thieves. So, I just want to make sure I had some extra coverage in here. There isn't really much in here worth stealing, but there's enough in here worth stealing, so. But, whatever. I'm still not done putting up cameras. I still want to put up one or two more yet, but I got to get more wiring. I just haven't done that project either, so. But yeah, so anyways, like I said, I'll have to set a couple of traps, but I'm not sure where the hell he went. Something fell though, so it must have been up there and it fell. Mice are pretty blind, so they don't really know where the end of anything's at. I think they more or less actually use their whiskers and they feel their way around. So must have thought that this kept going and it didn't, and boop, he fell. So probably didn't break anything. I kind of hope he broke his neck, but I kind of doubt it. We'll find out if I find a dead mouse in here, because this is all going to be taken out. Big Red's going to have to get out. The trailer's might have to come out, because yeah, all this has to come out because I got to put my snowboard back here in the corner, and then I got to get my trimmer out and all my other crap that's back there I got to get out. So this all has to come out. So, but anyways, the point of today's video is I got the other part for the little Farm All Abe. If you guys remember, it was last year, the starter kind of crapped out, and I know some of you guys are saying it's probably the Bendix drive. Well, nobody was really being like, they weren't really exactly saying what was what, because from what Steiner says, everything that's in that starter is a Bendix. I don't know why, but I don't know, in the book it's one thing, but then online it's something completely different. So I still haven't cleaned up my workbench from when I worked on the gas cams yesterday. So yeah, so the part that I ordered was supposedly there's two Bendix drives. The one I got was, I don't know, I guess the other one is kind of a I don't know, I guess it's like more improved. I don't know what the hell they mean by that. Maybe it just works better, I don't know, but I gotta clean that up. So, but the one I got was the original. This is just another original. It's exactly the same as what's in there now, and like I said, I don't know if this is even going to fix my problem. I don't know, because I don't know exactly what's wrong with the starter. So I'm just going to have to order one part at a time and just basically keep rebuilding the starter until it's rebuilt. So this is what I ordered for now, praying that this will fix the problem. Probably won't. This is the starter drive assembly, I guess they call it. Some call it a Bendix drive. The other one, this was actually cheaper. This was like $40, $45. The other part that you can order that was still basically this. It was basically just this, the part that spins. Everything else, it was different. I don't know. They said it would fit on this starter, but I don't see how, because it's completely different. Like, this much of it is different. So I don't really know but all they said that was different about it was that it just was improved. I don't know if it just means that it was built heavier, or But see, what the stupid thing is that on the old starter, this all still seems fine. Like it all still does what it's supposed to do. But yet, I don't know. So I'm lost for words on exactly what's going on. And this is supposed to be correct for my style of starter. You have to find the model number of your starter, and then go on their website and then put in that model number of starter that you're dealing with, and then there you go. So it gave me this, and then it gave me another part that was only about half this, but that was the improved version. This is just another like original version. Has 10 teeth on it. Even the improved one had it. And like I said, I don't know if this is the problem, because to me it seems like the old one still operates like it should. So I don't know. But I ordered it anyway. I probably won't be going in anytime soon, because the weather's still shit. It's supposed to start improving as every day goes by. Today it's extremely windy and cold. Tomorrow it's supposed to be windy and cold, probably a little bit warmer than today. And then every day it's going to start going up. And by the way, we did miss that snowstorm. We're getting the wind out of it, but we didn't get any snow. It all stayed south, so thank God about that. But so that's what I ordered. So I have basically everything I need to hopefully get this tractor back up and running again. I have the new Bendix drive. Well, in the online they call this something drive assembly. In the catalog it's still called the Bendix drive or something, whatever. It still has the word Bendix in it. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know, but this is to put in my old, the original starter. I don't know if that starter is actually original to that tractor or not. It looks like it, given how all the rest of the shit, and it matches the rest of the paint job. But the engine's not. The engine's been replaced with a different one, but yeah, so the only thing that we can do now, well, I have this. I have the rebuild kit for the carburetor. That's really all I need to get this tractor back up and running again. And then, yeah, and then I could just start ordering other miscellaneous parts that I need. I need new manifold. I need a new exhaust pipe. That's really it. I mean, to make it functional, it's really all you need. It probably could use some new parts here and there. The main thing is, yeah, it could definitely use a new paint job, but it's not going to get one of those. But that's what I had coming today anyway. So I hope this will fix my problem for the starter, because if not, well, it wouldn't be a waste of money, but at least then we're rebuilding our old one ever so slowly. But I could have just bought a brand new one for $270, so but I didn't want to give up on the old starter, because what if it really is just a simple part, but there's only so much work. There's only so much work that we're willing to do before we just say to hell with it and go get a whole new starter. There's only so much that we're willing to do with stuff, because after a while it's going to be an ongoing problem. So that's that. The other thing is at some point, probably won't be in my lifetime, who knows, it may or may not be causing part of our starting issue, but I kind of doubt it, because out of all the time that we've used the starter to start it, it's never really been an issue. But the starter, what do they call that stupid part? It's on the flywheel. You have to split the tractor to get to it. It's what the starter grabs to rotate the engine. Well, I'm not sure about on these tractors, but I know that the teeth, or the splines, whatever you want to call them, that's actually a separate part from the giant, round pulley disc thing, whatever you want to call it, that actually mounts to. They're actually two separate pieces. I'm not sure about on these tractors, but I think it is, but I don't know. I know on a guy on YouTube I watched, he was working on a semi truck, and his truck stopped starting all because the gear popped off the that where it sits on, the big giant pulley that it sits on, right? So I don't know, they all have special names, but just what I'm talking about. But I don't know if that's the same concept in tractors. I don't know if they're all just one big giant piece or if they are like a two-piece design. My guess is that they would be. They'd still be a two-piece design. But that gear probably should be replaced. It is shot on one side. I don't know what the hell happened to there. But you can only see it when you take the starter off. I don't know if there's like a secondary port or access hole. There probably is, but who knows where. So you can see that. And that's so you can also rotate the engine without actually having to remove the starter. You just remove two little bolts and then you're good. So, but on that you could see it. There was a spot where it was bad. I don't know how wore out the splines were on the old Bendix drive. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. But they didn't look that bad. But it could have been maybe the spring was shot, or something. But the thing is that it would, when you had the starter out, this all still spun over and it still kicked the gear out it pushed it into the gear to spin the engine. The only thing is that when trying to remember is when you would stop sending power to it, to stop trying to start your tractor. Well, sometimes I can't even fucking remember. It's sad, but I think when you did it by hand, it would go in, but then it wouldn't come back out. Or actually, I think it was the opposite. It wouldn't go in. Sometimes I think it was both. I don't remember. I haven't spun that starter over now since last summer, but it wasn't, from the last time that I can remember trying to spin the starter over, this wasn't engaging. Because if it was, well, then it should be turning the engine over. All you would hear is the starter spin. But when you did it by hand, you turned the Bendix drive by hand, the gear, you did all that by hand, right? It also acted perfectly fine. You could rotate it out like it would normally do that when it wants to start the tractor, and then you can rotate it back by hand. So I don't believe that they're going to spring back on their they should. Once that gear has done its job, well, then it's supposed to kick back into its waiting whatever, standby mode basically. But when it only does that when it's at speed, so you use the motor of the starter to get it up to speed. It'll engage, and then it's either the spinning force or it's just the tractor itself. It kicks that out, and it's supposed to kick it back. That's why it has that little spring on it, that little tiny spring. That's supposed to kick it back. It's supposed to always be under constant tension. So, but it looked fine. The spring wasn't broken. The spring didn't seem weak, It looked perfectly fine. The only thing that I was more or less concerned about was the gear on, I guess it would be like the flywheel or whatever, but I think you can replace the gears. But on this tractor, if it's a 2-piece design or a 1-piece design, I'm not really sure. I've never looked into that part. But to even replace that part, you have to split the tractor. And we would have to, in order to even split the tractor, I think we would have to take the mower stuff off. Because I don't think, I mean, I guess if the mower stuff was just attached to just the tractor side, not the rear end side, then maybe you could leave it behind. I don't know, you'd have to look at exactly where all this stuff is mounted out compared to where you actually have to split the tractor. If it's all before the splitting, then you'd be fine. But if it's after the split, well, then you might as well just take the whole damn mower off. You're going to have to drop the drive shaft anyway, because that's what is definitely going to the rear end of the tractor. But that's just a telescoping shaft, so it doesn't really matter. It's not like you have to bust the U-joints or anything. You can just completely just take it apart and you'd be fine. So, but we don't have the tools to split a tractor, and it would have to be done here in the shop because we need, my concrete's not the best, but you would need a concrete floor. You can't do it on dirt. You might get away with it on gravel, but it's going to be kind of a hard thing to do. So you would be better off just, you'd have to put it here in the shop and then split it. And I probably would be more willing to take on splitting the A. One, it's a much smaller tractor. There's way less crap on those tractors than there is on my big 1586. And, you know, you need the proper tools, obviously, to split a tractor too. But if you're going to split a tractor, then you might as well, you know, be prepared to put a brand new clutch in it too. Even though this clutch seems fine, but you know, it's been sitting for a lot of years, so I imagine there's going to be some rust on it, and that might, wear off with time. But I mean, I imagine there is some damage done to that clutch from sitting all those years, but we just don't know. But that's where, you know, getting comfortable with working on tractors and stuff like that is working on those really old tractors. I actually wouldn't mind. I almost don't want to do it, you know, to Grandpa's tractor, or the great-grandparents. I just call him Grandpa, but you know, because that's who drove it mostly, was the great-grandfather. But that was his tractor, and I don't really want to mess up his tractor, even though it's ours now, but I don't want to mess it up. So if I could actually get my hands on another tractor like that, but maybe that's junk, you know, that doesn't run, has clutch problems, it'd basically be a parts tractor, but I would actually be comfortable taking that tractor apart and not caring about it. If I mess it up, I mess it up. Big deal. It's what it was brought here for. Was for me to learn. So I would not feel comfortable doing that to the 1586 because that's a much bigger tractor. You need a much heavier splitting stand for it. The Farmall A could take a much smaller stand. I think most people just build their own stands. But there's just way less to go on there, you know. Compared to my big tractor, you got all that wiring and hydraulic hoses and clutch booster hoses and yeah, it's just, you know, it's a big mess. And then you got the rails, those rails that you'd have to remove. That's what your loader mounts to or anything else. Those tractors, they don't have that. Your engine, your transmission are the rails. So yeah, different time period, I guess, but but they're a lot more easier to work on. And that's where if you want to get into being a mechanic, especially for tractors, I recommend starting with those really old things, starting with ones that you ain't going to care about. You know what? If you fix it up and put it back together and it runs like a fucking dream, well, then I guess that's your project. You can just keep restoring it, rebuild it, make it look brand new again, and then you could sell it. make some money, and then go buy another junk tractor. You know? So, but we don't have the tools, and like I said, I don't know. I mean, the wise thing would be to replace that gear, the starting gear on the flywheel or whatever, but I don't know. The rest of it looks perfectly fine now. Like, I've spun it over and I looked it over really well. You just have one bad spot, and the chances of probably hitting that bad spot, you know, are probably going to be much smaller. You're still going to have the oddball chance that you could get into it and then your starter don't work, but I think it's always worked perfectly fine. I've never had an issue with it. Now, there's actually been times that the starter has skipped, and I think that's where it's skipping, is on that bad spot. But usually, even if it's skipping, it must turn it a little bit, because then eventually you get out of that, and then the tractor spins over. So I think that's where the starter does its skipping, is in that bad section of the gear. But to split that, it would have to be here in my shop, and we would have to find stands for it, and you'd have to see if you could just replace that gear, or if you have to replace the whole stinking part, or I don't know. So, but it's never really been that much of a pain in the ass, I guess, to start it. But there's going to come a time where it's going to destroy everything, and then you're not going to be able to start a period, and then you're going to be stuck with, you know, freaking splitting it anyway. Should just be done, but who knows what that part's going to cost. I've never looked it up on Steiner's to see what that part alone will cost. So probably a couple $100, I imagine. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to order it anyway, and then maybe just keep it, you know, like in a building or something, and then when the day does finally come that you got to replace it, well, at least then you'll have it. So, but for right now, that's not really the problem that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with the starter and then the carburetor. All that needs to be addressed, and then if we can get it running, then I think we'll have a fairly solid tractor. There's still going to have to be tons of work, of course, but that can just happen with time. The tractor needs to be ran again. Like, it needs to have, you know, 10 hours put on it of hard work to really, one, get the engine back into its groove. You know, the engine is probably weak. The engine probably needs to be rebuilt. And then, you know, just whatever breaks, and you fix it. So, but if I was to rebuild an engine, and I've said this in previous videos too, if I was to rebuild an engine, we have the original engine to that tractor. It's sitting in that building. There was something wrong with that engine. I don't remember exactly what was wrong with it, but they didn't want to fix it. Apparently it was easier just to find another used engine. And that's what's in there now. It's still a Super A Farmall engine, but apparently it come out of a combine. So I guess whatever combines ran Super A engines at that time period, I don't know, but apparently that was the thing. But I think I would take the original engine out, bring it here in the shop, try to find all the tools that you need to, you know, I would rebuild that engine. And if you mess it up, you mess it up. It's not the end of the world, you know, because you can either fix it or, well, your tractor still has an engine. But I think if I was to rebuild that engine and it was running strong, like, because I don't know how you would test it, but if it spun over fine, it seemed like it was going to be good, I would continue to build that engine up until it was 100% new. I'd probably stick it back in there again. Of course, again, you'd have to split the tractor and then put that engine back in there, and then run it. See if it runs, and if it runs perfectly fine, well, then you got a solid engine. Then take the old engine out. You know, I probably wouldn't touch it right away just because you want to make sure that the rebuilt motor will break in properly and make sure that it'll run pretty good. You know, so probably a couple of years, you know, let it run on that engine for a couple of years. And if you think it's going to be a solid engine, well, then you can tear the other engine down and rebuild that one. Then you'd have a solid backup. So, or you just wait, I guess, a few years. If you don't need to have a spare engine floating around, you could just leave it in a building or something and then rebuild it when the other engine gets tired. You know, just keep swapping back and forth, I guess. So, but right now we're not doing that. I think if I really had to, well, what we're going to do for this year, fix the starter. Hopefully this will be my problem. I'm hoping. And then rebuild the carburetor. And then that's really it. That's really all I planned on doing to it, I think, for this year. I didn't get any parts for the grain truck. Because some of those parts, I don't even know if you can find them anymore. So I'm going to try to look, but right now I kind of need the tractor more than anything else. So kind of is what it is. And I don't really know of anybody that sells old parts or new parts for an old truck. I don't think there is anybody else. I mean, you'd think there would be somebody. I mean, we have Steiners. They sell parts for old tractors. So why isn't there somebody out there building old parts or new parts for old trucks? So, but I don't know. That's a totally, I guess this is going to be a different year, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of the plans for now. And then I'm hoping, depending on what kind of year we have, because I still have to save up money for this big tractor tire for the 15. But I still may order some parts for the little A over the year. Like I said, I still got to order a new manifold. I have the gaskets for that because that was part of the head gasket kit when I had to get a new head gasket. New manifold. Get a pipe. Well, I think it comes with the manifold to get the pipe that goes in there. And then get a muffler. The only problem is that if I want to get that stinking valve, the exhaust valve, but I think there's only one guy that sells them, and I don't know if they're going to be correct. And he wants well over $100 for them, well over that. And it kind of pisses me off because there's actually no true pictures. I feel like I would just get robbed, you know. But if I can get that valve, then I wouldn't need the pipe because your muffler would clamp to that valve. So then I could probably start reusing the more lifting stuff. But I figured, well, good luck trying to find an exhaust valve. So I probably would just put the pipe back in it, you know, or put the pipe in it for now and then mount the muffler to that, like it would be if you didn't have that kit in the first place. There are people that can rebuild these things. Like there was one guy that rebuilt one, but mine can't be rebuilt. I'd have to find another used one and then send that off to get it rebuilt. So, but I don't know who exactly would rebuild them. But if I could find one in really good shape, well, then I wouldn't bother. It'd be just, you know, put a new seal in it, which is made out of some kind of material that's fire resistant, and then you'd be fine. It'd be perfectly fine. Oh, and I put new bolts in it too, and you'd be fine. I wouldn't worry about it. So, but as of right now, this is important right here, and then the carburetor. So that's really all that there is to do. Like I said, I will order more parts as the year goes on, but I also got to watch my money too, obviously. So, and I didn't spray any Roundup last year because I don't have a sprayer, but I have my little 2-gallon sprayer, but I didn't spray any chemical at the farm last year. and wasn't too happy about that because we ended up with a shit ton of weeds. And I'm completely out of Roundup. I got a little bit of my chemical that I use for the lawn, but that won't kill the weeds that I'm dealing with, so you got to use Roundup. So next month I'm going to order or get a gallon jug of Roundup. It won't be enough, but I'm going to get at least one jug, so then at least I got to start, stockpiling stuff now. So I got the oils and everything for the Tahoe, so whenever it's decent out, we can change the oil on that, and then we'll be good for the rest of the year. Yeah, so, but that's just the way it is. You gotta always constantly ordering stuff, but you're always kind of limited too, right? So that's the plans for now. I just hope that fixes my starter issue. Is this. So if not, well then then it's a deeper in issue. But that's all you can do is really just, that's all you can do is just replace one part at a time. So that's all that I can do. So, but I guess, guys, I'm going to take off. I'm freaking freezing because it's kind of a northeast wind and it's blowing right into the shop, and it's making it really cold in here. So, but I just wanted to make that video and show you guys what's going on. That I did get the parts for the tractor. I got the carburetor rebuild kit last month, I believe it was, and then I got this just a few days ago. So, well, I got it today actually, but I ordered it on Friday or whatever. So Thursday or Friday, whenever it was. So, but at least we're stockpiling some parts. That's all that matters. I got a little parts pile going on down there in the basement. So keep stockpiling it up. Hopefully we can have a big mountain pile of parts there before you know it. So, but still got to try to order the parts for the 15A62. So we'll see what happens there. But for now, this is all we're gonna get. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna take off. So I guess I have a good day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.